Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Back to talk about some landscaping and everything behind landscaping. Nah, just kidding. But we are going to talk about landscaping and lawn care and your consumer issues that you might encounter with our friends from Department of Trade Consumer Protection. Michael, friends, you and Michelle, the whole gang. Well, it's just you and Michelle, really.
For the most part, we do a lot of the outreach when we talk about...
At least when you come here.
When we come here.
Yeah. What do you know about landscaping?
Well, I know that if you look outside right now, there's not a whole lot going on. 2 days ago would have been great.
Well, right now, that's back to the snow removal side. Yeah. But interesting enough here, landscaping and lawn care issues do come up why you're bringing attention to this today. And we're talking leaning on like you're going to hire somebody to come out and do these things. But it's really important to talk landscaping and lawn care a little bit separate here too. So first out of the gate here, certainly folks may have pulled a contract for winter days like this because the lawn care companies or landscaping companies have to do something during the winter time, so they'll do a lot of the snow removal stuff, and then during the summertime they do the other stuff. But when folks are searching for to hire these services, what are some of the things they should consider as they pull the trigger on this?
You know, again, before I get into those, I just want to say one thing you pointed out that I think is great, that really in Wisconsin is a little bit unique, where we're talking and focusing on landscaping and lawn care right now, but you perfectly pointed out that a lot of these companies also do snow removal, because we have that in Wisconsin. And the tips that we'll talk about right now apply for both. You know, whether you're having snow removal or lawn care, we'll dive into the difference between lawn care and landscaping a little bit. But first is, you know, asking that contractor for recommendations, you know, or looking around and saying, hey, Jeremy, you know, do you use anyone for lawn care? Do you use anyone for snow removal? Who could I reach out to? Friends, family, someone that's that you know has been trustworthy. Another is, and this is really important, is to get more than one estimate, is because you want to understand, did I all of a sudden suddenly get somebody who's maybe not reputable and just wants my money and that's why it's so low? You really want that comparison. But what's even more important is to have that person come out and look at the green space. Have them look at your lawn. You don't want to do it just over the phone, because they may show up and be like, well, I didn't realize that you had 3 fences and 7 trees and all these other things that I have to deal with, which means the estimate might increase. You want them to stand there, look at it, and say, here's what the estimate. And then between those 2 or 3, do that comparison. And then we talked about asking friends and family if they have a recommendation. Conversely, ask those contractors you might be interested in and say, hey, could you give me some of your recent customer information? Or could you share my phone number with them? Because I'd just like to hear what their experience was. And then ask them, hey, you know, not just are you satisfied, but were they on time? Did they do what they were supposed to do? Did they clean up afterwards? You know, they might just pay for mowing, but you didn't realize that the yard would have a bunch of waste and things that you now have to pick up. So little considerations. And then the last one is door-to-door solicitations. Like there are a lot of reputable companies that do use this marketing method. And so we don't want to say that anyone that shows up at your door is a scammer. That's not the case. But we do want you to practice a little bit of caution when somebody does just show up at your door, and pay a little bit more attention to who they are, what they're claiming, what that contract says. Are they local? Do they have a physical presence? Because, you know, we do hear, unfortunately, year to year where somebody does show up, gets that money up front, and then when it comes time to perform the services, they can't be found.
It's a lot of information. So first thing that I think of is just the contracts that you're entering into in this. Like, what should folks be prepared to or should think about before getting into a contract? Because there are a number of things here that stand out. Also, too, insurance. So contract may be one area, but also finding out their insurance coverage and stuff, too, because if something happens, or whatever. I mean, oofda. The
one key thing on the contract is making sure you understand what services are going to be performed. So here's an example. Is it that the lawn will be mowed every 2 weeks no matter what? Or are you paying for 10 mowings when it reaches X length? Are you paying, does it include fertilizer? Does it include aeration? Are those extra? Is cleanup extra? What type of equipment might be used? Can it access the areas that you need? You know, maybe you have a front yard and a backyard, and there's a fence with a gate. Well, can the equipment get through there to do what needs to be done? understanding all those details so that you know what really can be expected. And then also that time frame of if there is, a quick service needed. This is moreover when we talk about snow removal, like what is the time expectation on how long you're going to show up after a particular snowfall. But it just all those, the message is the same, is understanding the details of what the expectations are, and then also when do they be paid. So do you have to pay all up front? Do you pay half up front? And that's a consideration of, how much risk are you willing to take on whether that'll actually get performed.
And then on the insurance side too, like certainly if they're bringing in equipment, and like you said, like getting through the gate is a good example. Like, well, if it's a tight gate and they take down your fence accidentally, or destroy some property, or a stone comes off the lawnmower and into your window, like, how do you ask those questions? Or maybe those are the questions you need to ask as you're going through this.
I think asking the questions never hurts. Some of them may say, well, I don't need that, and that might be true. Some of them may say, I don't need that, and it's untrue. We also would check, are there any local municipal requirements? Do they have to have a local business permit to be doing what they're doing? Some do. Some do not. Ask them, are you self-insured? Asking that question. If you were to hit my gate, who's responsible? Is my homeowners, or are you responsible for hitting that? And what coverage do you have for that? I think they're all fantastic questions. I think there's never a limit on how many questions you can ask or should ask, because you want to know that when you pay that money, you're comfortable with what you're paying for.
Well, and then if you're going to file a complaint, so if they aren't showing up, they aren't doing what they're supposed to, like how many times do you let that go, or when does the dispute happen and you guys get the call, I guess? And it probably varies, of course.
Yeah, it varies. Depends on how much the tolerance is for the consumer, right? How much they're willing to be patient and how much they're willing to wait. I would say the first time that they skip that service, you're more than welcome to call us, and then we'll we'll reach out on your behalf and say what happened here. Oftentimes that can motivate the business to stick to what they agreed to do, and so certainly that's a win there. But I would encourage any time, not just with lawn care or landscaping, anytime you pay for a service and you don't get it, please call us. Give us an opportunity to help.
All right, and if folks do want to learn more, there's lots of different pieces here, but first and foremost, to me, it's just when you're considering hiring a contractor of any sort, there's some great resources at DATCP to really spell that out. I think you want to do a little bit of research to know the questions you should be asking, but knowing what you're getting involved with. So when you do sign something, you know what you're signing. You know that you have something to back it up when something goes wrong, or what the game plan is, so to speak. Do you have those resources, and where can we find them?
We do. If you visit our website at datcp.wi.gov, you'll go to our consumer protection area, and within that there's a library of different resources available. You'll see that we have fact sheets for home improvement services, but we also have a couple checklists within those resources that is kind of something you can have on the forefront of your mind. We also do this for severe weather and storm planning, so that when that emergency happens, but the things you want to look out for are all the same. And so it's really important to have that checklist in front of you, so you're not trying to think on your mind or on your feet, or they say something to you that distracts you and all of a sudden you forgot, there's 3 things I should have checked. Have that with you ahead of time so you're ready to go.
All right, well, I appreciate it. And we didn't. Do you like to do lawn care? We didn't even get to that part. It. I do too. I think it's the greatest thing. I love reacting. Last year I got into more like doing I have a rider, but I got off the rider and did more of the walking part because I wanted to be out there longer. Maybe because the wife said I need to be out there longer. Nah, just kidding. But it's just so nice to do it, right? It's just something relaxing for Wisconsin, right?
And it's satisfying when you're done. You can see, the result of your efforts, which is, very satisfying. And I'm also one of the unique ones when the hotter the better.
Oh my God.
Hot and scorching hot.
Well, that's where we differ. Yeah. Either way, Michael, appreciated the bonus question you didn't think you would get asked. There it is.
Hopefully I got it right.
Yeah.
50-50.
Hot.